Hey, Matt, today I want to compare the 12-inch sliding miter saw from Makita to the 10-inch sliding miter saw from Festool, seemingly the top two miter saws that you can purchase. I've had them both. Let me tell you what I think. This video is brought to you by us, 731 Woodworks. Go check out our online store, 731woodworks.com/store. We have easy to follow build plans to help you make awesome projects. Put together some bundles to help save you extra. If you use the code CAPEX, I'll give you 20% more off already discounted plans. The way you bevel the Festool is fantastic. I absolutely love this about this saw. This knob here that you rotate right or left, depending on which way you want to bevel the machine, it's just so smooth. Oh, it's so nice. There's no holding the saw, trying to get it at the right angle, nothing really awkward. And what's really great is this angle indicator, extremely easy to see when you're tilting the saw. This Makita will bevel left and right 45 degrees, and there's actually an override switch that lets it go all the way to 48, so that's really cool. If you're interested in either of these saws or the dust extractor that I have, I'll link them in the description below, as well as some other things for you to go check out for yourself. This is fully extended and then left and right. You can see that I barely push on the left, and I do get quite a bit of deflection, so if you're putting too much pressure left when you're cutting down, you're going to see that deflection. Going right, you don't see as much. Let's see what the Festool has to offer here as far as blade deflection goes. I actually have not tried this. There's a tiny bit. I'll zoom out and let you see. On the deflection, you have to put quite a bit of pressure. Not a lot of pressure, but you have to put pressure either way. Same thing on the Makita. The Makita just seemed to deflect more on one side than the other because it only had the rails on one side. This one has them on each side. There is deflection. It's just the nature of the beast with sliding miter saws. I've had the DeWalt, I've had the Delta, I've had the Makita, and now this one, and they all four have deflected in some form or fashion. How much will that deflection matter on any of those saws? Very little in my experience, so long as you're putting direct pressure down. To lock it in the down position, you just pull this knob out and twist it. And now it's unlocked. And you can use it as normal. And then when you're ready to transport or store it away, it locks right back in. On the Makita, the way you lock the blade down, there's a little twisty knob that was getting stuck fairly quickly or fairly often on me. And the way this one works is just a push. You push that pin in, it's locked, and it's not jamming on me at all. It's super simple. One really cool feature about this saw for safety, as well as blade changes, most saws have the push button that you have to hold down while you're loosening the blade. The Capex has that knob right there. What does that do? It locks the blade. Once you have it in that position, this don't work no more. It turns off the trigger. That's awesome for safety for you when you're changing the blade, but also if you have small children or others that come into your shop to keep them from accidentally turning the saw on and hurting themselves. It comes with a standard style miter saw hold down clamp. It's just okay. I've never found those to be extremely useful on the DeWalt, the Delta, or this one. The hold down clamp on the Festool is the only miter saw clamp I've ever seen that actually works. Drop it in the hole. It's super easy to adjust. There's no screwing the little thing down and taking forever. Press it down, and when you push this, it actually puts pressure down on there. There's no denying that this clamp there, that's gonna hold it. It's nice, it just works. Something like this that's quick, fast, and easy to use, you'll find yourself actually using the safety device that come with your saw. The cutting capacity on this Makita was one of the reasons I chose it initially, because it's huge for a 12-inch saw, and it beats the others that I was looking at, like the Bosch. It'll cut up to 8 inches vertically on nested crown molding, 6 3/4 inch baseboard, 6 3/4 inch vertical cutting capacity, and then 15 inch on cross cuts. So in other words, at 90. So you can slide it out and get 15 inches of cross cutting capacity with this saw. So normally this saw is like 3 13/30 seconds or some nonsense on the depth, but as far as the maximum cutting capacity, but it has a special cutting position, which if you're just gonna use it as a chop saw mainly, you pull this out, there's a little lever right here that you're gonna flip down, and that's gonna put that, there's gonna be a metal piece that extends. When you slide it back, it's gonna lock onto that. So that's gonna give you 4 3/4 of an inch of vertical cutting capacity if you need it. If you're just using it normal, just like this, without locking it forward, you're looking at a 3 15/30 of an inch It's an odd number, but they're converting millimeters. Also, you get 12 inches of cross-cut capacity with this saw, but again, at that 3 and 15-30 seconds max depth. And then also, Makita was 15, so you're losing 3 inches of cross-cut there. One thing to note on the slide rails, there's 2 of those. That helps it slide pretty well as far as being stable, but they're all both on the left. I think if it had slides on each side, it would be even more stable. As far as the sliding goes, it's about equal to the Makita about how it feels. In other words, the smoothness of it. Because it's on rails, you get a little bit of that almost friction feel. Whereas something like the Delta, which was smooth as butter, the smoothest sliding saw I've ever felt. But these, they work perfectly fine. The depth stop on this to allow you to make dados or grooves, half laps, things like that is just an absolute pleasure to use. It's right there. It flips up. When it's up in that up position, you got full cutting capacity. When you flip it down, that's when it sets the depth. You can see here that I'm all the way down there anyway, but you can just twist it. That's all you do. You can micro adjust this thing to get the perfect depth setting every single time. Like the Makita, this also has a soft start. I've never had a soft start miter saw before the Makita, and now this one, and it is an absolute pleasure because, as you know, the DeWalt, if you don't start way up here, then it's gonna jerk out of your hand. The Makita in this one, very nice. One of the issues I'm having with the saw is the dust collection. While it's good, it's actually excellent when locked in the non-sliding position all the way back. This thing is phenomenal for dust collection. I would venture to guess 95% of the dust is going into this large dust boot. When I'm cross-cutting or sliding, that's where the issues happen, and there's a reason why that's happening. The issue on the sliding cut is right here. When you move that saw right there, the dust boot comes with it, and the large one stays put. Well, most of the dust is flying vertical above the saw at that point, like you can see here in this video, and I don't know how else to control it while sliding. When I first got the Capex and put it on my new miter stand, and I connected this extra hose that I'd bought because they suggested that I get the 36 millimeter, which is another cost to really improve the dust collection. The first few cuts, I was like, I'm doing something wrong. It's not picking the dust up. But what I found, probably pretty simple, turn the speed down. It doesn't have to be full blast. It doesn't have to be number 6 to cut through softwoods, things like that. So I slowed the speed down, and I'm seeing a dramatically better dust improvement as far as collection. And the reason is there's not as much coming off at a time, and the hose has a chance, or the airflow has a chance to pick up what's coming off. In my opinion, the Makita blows this thing out of the water as far as dust collection in the collapsed position. The Makita collects, oh man, most all of that dust. It's really impressive actually. So the Makita, in my mind, does a better job. The Makita does have a laser line, but for the most part, I can't see it. It's just my eyes. I'm personally red-green colorblind, which means I can't see certain shades of red and certain shades of green. Unfortunately, this shade is one that I can't see. This also has a laser line, and this one I can see. I couldn't see the Makita, but this one I can. This button on the very top, right by your variable speed control, turns it on and off. And as you can see, you have 2 lasers now. Lasers. You got one on each side of the blade, indicating where each side of the kerf is going to land. Where the footprint of the Makita really stands out is right here. It's about 36 inches from the back of the saw, well, yep, to the very front of the knob. However, if you have dust collection that goes over and behind, it does need about another 2 inches behind it, just so when it swings around, these hoses have plenty of room to clear the wall. One thing I do like about the Festool Capex is it doesn't stick out as far because it's only, what, 32 inches from the back, and then I've got like less than an inch clearance back there, so you can almost get it against the wall. But when collapsed, it's also taking up less room this way. So that's a positive in my book. If you move from job site to job site, you will appreciate the weight of this saw at only 50 pounds versus the Makita, which was at 65 pounds. Now the Makita was a 12 inch, this is a 10 inch. I'm not really sure what the 10 inch Makita weighs, but this one is, you can definitely tell the difference in that 15 pounds. Another thing I noticed on this saw when it's at the 60 degree all the way to the left is when you drop the blade. I haven't cut here, thankfully. Did you hear that? That's metal on metal. this blade is hitting this side. From the factory, it shouldn't do that. And that's at a 60-degree angle. The Kapex comes with a feature that no other saw comes with, as far as I know. It's this. This is a PKE meter. It detects ghosts, like in Ghostbusters. I'm kidding. It looks like it though. Let me show you what it does. I have an odd angle wall in my house, and you can take it and just set it up against that in the internal angle, and then just make sure both these pieces touch. Once you do that, you can bring it outside, turn your laser on the saw, put one of these pieces up against the fence. This sets perfectly inside that throat plate. You just line the laser up with those dotted lines there to be able to know if you're right on the angle. For external corners like that, these aluminum pieces just push straight out. Then you can use those to find any external angle you want. Once you get that set, you'll collapse these. Take it back to the saw, do the exact same thing. Once it's lined up, the laser lines up with that, you'll be good to go. Festool warranty is 3 years, and it doesn't matter if it's wear and tear or not. So if you, at 2.5 years, have just used the mess out of this thing and wore it completely out and it needs serviced, they will fix it. And if they don't have the same model, you get the upgraded model. That's awesome. They also keep their parts guaranteed in supply for 10 years. So if you buy this now, you know for a fact you're gonna have 10 years of parts on this thing. So that's a positive. The Makita's warranty is a 1-year warranty. If you like Makita brand or you just need a bigger saw, the 12-inch Makita is a fine saw. It's a really great saw. So if you're kind of debating on whether you should jump up to this saw or stick with the Makita that you're thinking about buying, the Makita's fine. It really is. Again, it's gonna come down to preference. However, I did not like the fact that the Makita, the fence and the blade made contact at that 60-degree angle. That was a major deal killer for me. I also like the smaller size after I built the motor stand of the Festool 10-inch. Now I could have went with a Makita 10-inch also and basically had a very similar form factor. Also the bevel feature, while I don't use that a lot, this thing is butter smooth and the Makita just annoyed me. Like I did not like that when you had to crank that dial like 10 or 12 times before it ever unlocked. And then when you got it back to 0, you had to crank it again the opposite direction to get it to lock back in at 0. I didn't like that. I think that's just a poor design. If you like Festool products, you'll love the Festool dust extractor review right there or the Festool track saw. Either one of those videos, clicking those, get you a big old virtual fist bump. Don't forget to click them. I appreciate it. Also subscribe before you leave. It helps me out a lot.